I believe the best way to help your wife see that sex isn't a chore is by modeling for her that whatever fills her love bucket up for you is not a chore.
Yeah, I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out of stands. I deserve another 100.
Welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast. We're the voice you trust when it comes to lust, and we are who you hire when she lacks desire. Thank you for your thoughts. We appreciate your suggestions. Now we're going to start off with some answers to your questions.
Wow. That was beautiful.
That's pretty good, eh?
Literally.
Well, hello there, Jess. Enjoying your picnic dress. How you doing?
I'm ready for a picnic.
Yeah, you are.
Summer,
Let's
baby.
go, dude. Speaking of summer, don't be a nerd. Spread the word. Spread the word, my fine chaps and chapesses. Is
that a real word?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but I know that we're blessed. We're too blessed to be stressed. And boy, the momentum and the pickup of how much we've been releasing these podcasts, I have been getting some great feedback on how much they appreciate that. So we love hearing that from you guys. It's always great to hear the positive feedback, and keep all that negativity to yourself. No, I'm just kidding. If you guys want to tell it to somebody, go tell it to your mama.
Ooh.
All right, so here we go. Let's start this session off with some questions.
A little Q&A.
I've got 3 of them for you, Jessie Joy. By the way, let us not forget that there was a man named George born on July 3rd, 1903, 13. I don't know.
Your grandpa?
My grandpa's birthday is today. Grandpa George.
Oh, that's so cute.
Shout out to Grandpa George.
You're a lot like him.
Yeah, he's
You old man, you.
Yeah, you. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Questions for the show. Let's just start off with a juicy one. And it basically said this: do you guys do something different every date or repeat some of the ideas over and over again? That is asked by a guy by the name of Roger C.
That's a great question, Roger C.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like tongue twister. We do sometimes the same things because we've had so much fun. Like, say if we went out and had dinner and then we met some friends out, we'll talk about it all the next day, like how much fun or the conversations we had. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, next week I'm like, oh, I want to do the same thing again. It was so fun. And you get like that too. Like you want to do the same thing because it was so fun. Yeah. But we do mix in a lot of different things. So yeah, we repeat the thing. We got to eat dinner. So yeah, we'll start off with dinner.
Yeah.
I don't feel like cooking that day. So, or picnic or movie or like, but yeah.
It just kind of depends on what
our mood too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like sometimes we don't feel like the dancing part or other people, just each other. So
I feel like there's 3 things. There's mood, there's tude, and there's gratitude.
Wow.
Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Okay. Also, seasons matter. Like right now, seasons of life of how old our kids are, seasons of life of like how hot and warm or cold it is outside.
Yeah, if it's chilly outside, I don't really love going out.
Yep.
But when it gets warmer, I do.
Yeah. We'll do.
Or we'll do daytime beach things.
Yeah.
And we'll do the beach a lot. So.
Yeah. And now that Jovi has ridden her first wave and is actually into waves, holy shit, that was a beautiful father moment for me. That's a new season. So, yeah, there's things that we really like. We might go to a different spot, but living where we live and spending as much time as we do down here, Dana Point, Laguna, San Clemente, there's just so many little different things to do. But the general gist is, how do we get time to just be alone and kind of let our hair down and peel back some of the seriousness of life, I guess? Yeah.
We do have our spots like that we like.
Yeah.
So
and actually there's reasons why we go to some of the same spots. One of the things that do you remember that movie, or that TV show Cheers?
Way before me, but yes.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
remember we went to Boston? We actually went there.
Yeah, so we went to you and I went there, but there was a famous line in the song, and it goes, where everybody knows your name, boom, 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 right? Yes. And so, like, I feel like as a nation, as a culture, as a society, we're like, and people reference Cheers all the time. Like when I come here, it reminds me of that Cheers song, where everybody knows your name.
Yeah. And like family.
Yeah, but we like that as human beings. I love that. And
it's comfortable.
So we have set that up in our life to do that. There are certain spots that we know are the great dance spots. They have the great music, and we've set them up locally to go have those experiences. You can hear the same DJ, but you're going to go dance, even if it's one Friday night to the next Friday night. Different group of people. Mm-hmm. You're in a different space. You might be celebrating or working through something totally different. So even if you pick the same route, you're not the same person showing up to those particular spots, and neither is anybody else showing up to there. So I think that rather than just go, oh, well, that seems too routine, what we've discovered in our routine, we get to know people. So we know all the security guards at all the places, and we always sit in the best spots because we have a protocol on how we do this. First of all, we treat everybody with massive respect. Mm-hmm. Second of all, everybody loves cash in their hand. And third of all, everybody likes to be around generous tippers. Mm-hmm. And fourthly, people like being around beautiful people. We happen to be that. So you know what? That just comes with the territory.
Side note on this conversation, when I go out with my mom and take her like on dates, we go to the same places that we have been going for years because she's comfortable. Mostly I just go where she wants to go. But those people that have been there, working there or go there, they kind of become like family too. And then we hang out with them and we get to know them better. So I actually have been going to the same places for a long time, even with her. So I like that comfortable feeling. But you and I do spice things up, or the overnight dates or axe throwing or a picnic or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But I do like to feel like comfortable in those spots and get to know the people.
I want to break something down.
Oh, even more?
Yeah, I want to break it down.
All right, break it down.
Break it down. When there's an energy around good dates and a good dating life. It's an energy, whether you're single and you're dating people, whether you're married and you're dating, whether you're divorced and you're newly dating, and whether you're trying to get your ex back and you're dating someone new to create the opportunity and container to get them back. All four of those particular lanes, the energy of dating from both people is, I can't wait to hang out with this person. Mm-hmm. So what creates that? That is the essence of good dating. So do you and I go to a lot of the same spots? Yes. But do we also love throwing novel ideas, whale watching?
Oh, that was so fun.
And I like those to try and be like experiences, going to really great comedians in town. These are like one-off, kind of once-in-a-lifetime experiences. That concerts are a great idea for that.
Yes.
These one-off type vibes can really, really... They do two things. First of all, the anticipation and lead up to it is divine.
Mm-hmm. That novelty.
It is so like the anticipation. I mean, it's why like we're getting ready for Christmas. As we're getting ready, like as humans, we love this anticipation of things that are about ready to come. Mm-hmm. And then usually the fulfilling of it is like a release in and of itself. The fact that you're there, then it opens up this desire to release and release. It's like when we say we let our hair down. We're releasing some of the mask that we might hold up for others and letting the real us out. Mm-hmm. Even for those of us who are really letting the real us out a lot. Mm-hmm. If you give me 30 gummies and you stick me in a good concert, you're going to see a really no mask released Keith.
Also, the thing of doing something new that you're experiencing together creates that bond.
Oh, yeah.
Because you did it together, you got through together, and then you talk about it together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we like the same places, but we like to throw in the new things, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, what makes great dates? This is the great conversation.
Yeah, so, attitude.
Yeah, but like if you think, the attitude's got it. I mean, yeah, if you got a bad attitude, then you know.
Yeah, why go?
Yeah. We're talking about mood, tude, and gratitude. If you mess up the attitude, then you're going to put my mood on, and I'm just going to be grateful you're gone. All right, so here's the other cool thing about is this conversation piece. If you're living a life that's not just sitting around like a bump on a log, but you're experiencing things, when you get out and you go on these dates, wherever you go, conversation and companionship are the two things that actually make dates amazing.
It's that connection.
That's what creates connection. You got the companionship, like, oh, this is my best friend. We're experiencing something new or the same thing again. But it's a new conversation.
So that would be the time to ask like those fun questions of like, about high school days or boys, how did they treat you? Did you ever cheat on someone? Just like fun. Yeah. Well, I think that's fun. That might trigger some people, but to ask the questions of like diving deep into who they are.
Yeah. We've got a free video coming out where I explain the 5 sneaky ways to find out what your wife is attracted to.
Ooh.
And it's
Are you going to sneaky do them on me?
One of the things I mentioned to them was, I said, I know so much about Jesse's ex-boyfriends because I asked a lot of questions.
Yeah, you do.
Who was this? Who was that? What did you do here? And so I'm like, I know a lot about them.
Yeah.
But knowing a lot about them tells me a lot about you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's 4. That's one of the 4 ways. One of the 5 ways. We said 4, but I actually went back and watched the video, and there's actually 5. But we'll just keep it at 4, and one will be a bonus because we like to over deliver. But anyhow, the one of these things is finding out. That's a great time to find out about them. And most guys, interestingly enough, if they hear that and go, I don't want to know about their ex, blah 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 blah. It's like, you are a benighted soul, which means you do not see very well, my friend.
I have to say something on that.
Well, you
go on to the next question because that is such a big deal. You can't know fully about the person you're with if you don't ask them those questions. And why would it trigger you? They're not even together anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be a little pussy.
Yeah, I think people
that's like the life they lived. That was who they were at that time.
It's and it was a part of the fabric of who they are now.
Yeah.
All right, I think we did that one. Roger C, I hope you see. All right, number 2. Oh, this is interesting. I had seen these questions, but I forgot. This is a great segue to the next question, actually. Without even knowing it. Ooh, something amazing is about to happen. Here we go. How can I know what my wife is turned on by? Like, what is she attracted to? That was literally, okay. Well, good job. This is a guy by the name of Matt.
Can we give a couple?
Yeah.
Sneaky questions, like the ones that you were going to say, just like.
Yeah, no, I don't mind.
I want to know.
I can tease them a little bit, and then we can, if they want the link, we can send it. It's free anyway.
I don't like to be teased a little, play the game.
Yeah, you don't just stick it in. You just wiggle it around for a little bit on the front of the cave. Let everybody know you're home.
Right,
let all the neighbors know, hey, I'm knocking on the door and I'm barging in.
Okay.
All right. Well, go ahead.
No, now I want to know your little sneaky.
Oh, you want to know the goods. Okay, so how can you find out? Well, one thing is watching a rom-com with them. And then that can become the basis of a jump-off point to a great conversation. You and I have done this in the movie theaters a million times. I can't remember exactly which movies, but different movies. And when we'll see something that we'll watch an interaction, we'll look at each other almost like, we're going to talk about that later. Like, you know what I mean? Like we meant like, oh God, we want to break everything. You and I love breaking shit down. Yeah. So, going to a rom-com, another way that you could do it. And I break a lot of these down in detail, why they work and how to go after them in the free video. But, another beautiful thing is saying something like, I heard the guys at the office wife was saying this about this guy and that she didn't like it or did like. What are your thoughts? You can kick it up that way. You can say, hey, I saw this thing on Instagram where this lady was talking about this is the 3 top things that she thinks are attractive in men. Do you agree with this? So you're hitting it from angles that aren't like, so do you like smart guys or muscly guys? And like you're secretly hoping, I hope she picks muscles because I got muscles.
Say it.
Yeah, so it's a way to find
roundabout
out.
Way.
Yeah, so asking about the ex-boyfriends, what were they like?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Did they even have speech impediments? Like you just, and then you go after it a comical, humorous way.
Or like if there's someone like a guy on TV, model, whatever, actor, and you're like, oh, do you find him attractive or him? So you kind of can see.
Oh, well, that and the sneaky way to doing it is, I don't get it. All the ladies are into Chris Hemsworth. What is it about him? And then usually the precursor is, hey, I'm not gay, so I'm always getting this wrong. And we do get this wrong because sometimes you'll be like, look at that guy. I'm like, okay, well, what is it? That's another question. what about that guy is attractive? And then they can objectively say about some, oh, I like his
this or that.
And you say like he's tall or he's smart or he's this thing. So it tunes me into what's going on. Those are a few of the interesting ways to probe. And it's not so much probe in like, I hope I measure up. That's a bad energy. And that you can smell kind of like a bad diaper. You're like, oh shit, this kid needs a diaper change. And it just kind of wafts in front of them. I believe the energy is more just like, I'm curious. Another one that I mentioned was when you're out with your friends and there's many couples, you notice I do this all the time. I'm always talking to the ladies about like not what turns them on, but what do you think is attractive, or like what do you think is annoying? I'm always pulling information out and getting this conversation started. And what I'm doing is I'm also showing my wife that this is a perfectly normal conversation to have. And where this is, of course, my mind has to go to jiu-jitsu.
I was like, where?
Like a lot of guys get tapped on this thing. They don't know how to find out what their wife is actually, their wife is actually attracted to, or what do they find, what is their wife most attracted to about them, or initially, what was it? So when you find yourself in that position, yet you might be in that hold, these are ways for you to proactively figure out, I wonder what my wife is into.
You know, what's so funny is that, like we said, you have to go a roundabout way, or, you know, and you have done that, but you and I are just so open.
Yeah.
And we just ask the questions.
Yeah, because we're black belts at this.
Yeah.
We're black picnic dresses at this. Yeah, but to all the white belts listening, and to some of the possible blue belts that might be listening, it's always about becoming the guy. And these are some habits and things that I do almost all the time, everywhere.
Yeah.
Simply because I'm naturally curious about this topic. But because of my natural curious about this topic, I've discovered things that are just work very, very effectively. A lot sooner than I think maybe somebody who just has a casual view of these things. But when a guy is severely diagnosed with DDS, he is
the energy behind it. That's why.
And he's looking he's looking for, well, how do I do this?
And she'll be like, there he goes talking about sex again. The way he does it. And that's not okay.
Exactly. So this is the nuance. This is the breakdown. This is actually why people who just hear the podcast that don't get specific coaching for us actually can fuck some things up. It's like, here's a sword. And like, well, I don't know how to use it. Oh, I cut off my ear. Fucking swords are horrible. No, you just don't know how to use it. And so this is like, this thing is like, well, how do you talk to your wife about sex? She's not real comfortable with the topic about sex. Well, is your only conversation with her about getting it on?
Yeah, or talking about what other people turned on, or that hot girl again.
Or what's...
Yeah, because I remember being there in our past relationship like that.
Here's another... I'm like... Here's the sixth way, if they want to hear the sixth way. You go in, since you guys asked, you out on a date together, and you see there's a very fun game to play on your first date or your 1000th and first date. And it's, hey, do you want to play a game? The answer is, of course I do. I'm a girl. I want to play a game, is what every lady would say. And you go, let's guess who these couples are, what date number they're on. Let's find out what's going on.
Are they new?
So they go, is that a first date, or is that like are they already cooled off? Are they in a horrible relationship? And next thing you know, now we're basing it off, and now they tell you, and then you go, why? What are you seeing? This is cueing you into what they look at and look for and look stuff.
Listening is an art for sure, and you'll learn so much if you just listen. We actually were on a little double date the other day.
We were indeed.
And we were asking the girl of the couple that we were on a date with some questions, and she said things that I actually learned a lot from, that I thought most girls feel a certain way, and she threw me off.
Yeah.
So I was like dying to ask why she feels the way she feels about those things. But I learned a lot.
You did.
Yeah.
So did I.
I was like, whoa.
But that is one of those beautiful things. So all of these things, it's becoming the person that's truly inquisitive and curious and cares, and is not guys are going to hear this. They're like, Keith, I'm struggling. I got DDS. I'm not in the spot that you're in. But it's a guy that's really comfortable with who he is and is able to talk about it. You know what I mean? And It's a tough, it can be a tough place because people have made sex like this big taboo cultural topic that nobody talks about out loud, as opposed to, no, let's just talk about it on
everybody does
free
it. It's like everybody shits.
Yeah.
Everybody has sex.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about it.
And the sex part is what's interesting because adults, half of the adult population, literally that is their only evidence of like affection and care. So they go, well, of course I want to talk about it because what the hell? So, you know, I think that, I don't know, I hope another million podcasts like ours pop up and people start talking about it so it becomes the norm. But I think that was a pretty good explanation. You think we hit that one well?
I think so.
Right on, right on, right on. Number 3, how do I help my wife not see sex as a chore? Ooh. That seems like the most basic 101 question, but yet it is the question every guy has that ever questions anything ever. So
it's exceedingly loaded too.
Well, then unload it.
Well,
unload their burden, Jesse Joy.
It's you got to dive deep into that relationship, every single relationship, to know how it's going sideways. So is he, smelly, first of all? Is he pouting about things? Is he not being the man? Is he not being a good dad? Like all of our 5 dials, right? So that's a loaded one. You go ahead.
You want me to divide into it?
Yeah, because I think it's different for everyone.
I'm gonna go a different angle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a different angle. And I believe the best way to help your wife see that sex isn't a chore is by modeling for her that whatever fills her love bucket up for you is not a chore.
Also, to understand that that's how he feels loved. To know that, what do we say? A drained ball sack. Like you can ask for anything after that, right? Like, so it's like he gives to you and you give to him, and that's the way he feels loved. So it's not a chore. You're loving him.
If you can prove to her that you loving her isn't a chore.
Yeah.
If you boil it all down.
Yeah.
If we go, okay, Jesse needs good conversations. Sometimes they're rough and hard and fast. They're good conversations. Sometimes they're long and slow and loving. But she needs all of those conversations. The same way Keith needs all of his physical connections. But if I'm acting like it's a chore to hang out with you and talk to you, which I've done plenty of times in the past, and yet I don't want you to act like it's a chore over here, I just think you have to model this thing. Yes, the true answer is become attractive. But even if somebody's attractive, they like as a whole, there can be little pieces that make her go, I don't want that. And I think it can happen in waves and seasons. So there can be a lot to do with this. But I think ultimately, if you can't say, you know what, I endeavor, and you do a really good job at this. I am endeavoring to meet you in a way that makes you feel this way. If you can't really say that, it's going to be hard, or you're almost expecting somebody to go against their nature if you don't do that. If you don't treat what is meaningful to them as not a chore, how are they not going to do this? You know what I mean? So I think when it boils, like if we're just ripping it all the way down to the bare metal, we got to go, this is something to consider.
That's a good place for a generalization.
Yeah.
But definitely to dive deep into that relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Then we can tweak a couple things here, a couple things there.
Yeah. I got to tell you about a situation that happened today. There's a guy he called, and she filed divorce papers 3.5 months ago. and he joined a program to help fix it. And he gave me the name of the program. I hadn't heard of him. There's a lot. And he was telling me what he was doing. And I knew it was wrong.
Oof.
And, but the reason he leaned into us, because he's like, I'm not sure exactly if they're going to show me how to get my wife to actually be sexually into me and attracted to me. But the goal is more like reconciliation and repairing the thing. I said, oh, getting it back under the same roof to the miserable marriage that made you hate it anyway.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. He said, I don't know what results they're getting, and I hope it's really high, because the higher the results that any of these companies gets, that means people are happy.
Yeah.
I said, but you, and I'm not knocking anybody, and that's not my job to knock anybody. I said, but if you continue with those particular things, and I explained the psychology of why it was wrong, or it's not going to get him what he actually wants, and we want to get down to the core of what does he really want. And you know what the core of what he really wanted was? He wanted a wife that actually wanted him. And I'm like, are you getting that from the other people? He's like, no. I said, well, you're fucked. You're fucked.
Yeah.
And
it's just going to put a Band-Aid on it.
Yes. And he was able to really he really heard me. Of course, he's scared, and he's all the things that guys are in that spot. But it made me just realize how much I don't like to say wrong advice, but it doesn't help a man get what he actually wants. And what a man has to actually do to get his wife back from that situation is so counterintuitive. And it's actually the thing that they've wanted their entire life, was to not have to have this lady as a crutch to find out who they really are. And that's what she's actually waiting to see. And so there's all these answers, but nobody's talking about them. And guys are paying good money, investing, and they're going to these programs, and they're like, I'm getting some good stuff. I'm really committed. I said, yeah, okay, you've been trying it for 4 months. Yeah. What is the fruit? That is the crazy thing for me. It's like a man cannot just look at his fruit and go, well, it's not working. And you know what I found that it was? This is a theory. I'm going to be proven all right on this in 10 years, or I'm going to look back and go, wow, 45-year-old Keith didn't know anything he was talking about. That we all have a pattern of how we see things, and oftentimes we'll hire a coach or two that affirms those patterns, but they say but you're right in the way you're thinking, you're just not pulling this thing off, this thing off, this thing off. And I said, if you're going to have that coach that's telling you these things, I just want you to know, if you hire me, I'm going to tell you to do these things. And let me tell you why. And then I explained to him the reasoning, and he goes, oh shit, you're right. I said, so I can't, if you maybe you have to go finish that program, and then, but the bottom line is, every day you do those things, you're literally, the window is closing and closing and closing and closing. And it's teaching you the thing that's actually pushing her away. And you have that pattern. And so you adopted a coach or a teacher that has that same pattern. Almost every guy that comes in the married game that actually becomes a client, maybe 98% of them all said, shit, when I heard you talk, it like jolted me, and they go, oh my God, that's different. Holy shit. And then it's those guys that go, I don't want the same thing that I've always got, because I've already tried all that horse shit. Yep. I do actually want to become this guy. And that makes me feel really good.
You don't want, even if you go back to that relationship, you never want to go back to that relationship, even if it's with the same woman, right? The whole point is to have a brand new relationship. Both of you are different together. Leave all that bullshit behind and move on and be better together.
Yeah. I think you do a really good job of that, especially lately. I've seen you make some real moves to just be like, where there would be like some arguments where you might dig in, where you're like,
that hasn't served me. right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nor I.
No.
No. What do you think about for real, Jesse? Well, Jesse Joy.
I love questions. They're so
yeah,
fun.
You do. It allows us to get into some of the nuance and really like break down how we're looking at things and where we're looking at things. I was having a conversation with a buddy today, really early morning conversation, and I just listened for about 18 minutes. And he's a good friend. And I said, you've given me a lot of clay to work with here. and his smile got so big because he knows when that's the case, he's like, oh,
give it to
okay,
me.
shit, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and that means I'm gonna learn something today. Yeah. And that is the I've just noticed the pattern of men is we get stuck in this loop. Doom, doom. And it's gotta be this, it's gotta be this, it's gotta be this. And it almost takes this huge wrecking ball, 2x4, something to smack us up against the head and go, it's not working that way. That pattern isn't right. You've been lied to. Accept it.
Yeah.
And then they go, okay.
Yep.
That's me.
Yeah.
It's why
you can see that.
It's why every one of these stories, I just told you about one guy that was saying he was following this program, doing the wrong thing. I could tell you that story 100. It's the same as every guy that's ever come in this program.
Like I say the same thing, and you're like, nope. And then something will say the same thing, but just like a smidge different. And you're like, I was doing that the whole time. I'm like, there you are.
Yeah.
There's the hope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is so fun hearing your guys' stories. It is so fun. I got a video we're going to release here pretty soon. One of the happiest moments of this guy's life is when he came home and his wife was on the doorstep.
Oh.
Ready for him and excited to see him.
Like the way I greeted you yesterday.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
Exactly. That was special. You're special. This is great. This is amazing. So that being said, we love you guys. We hope you have an amazing 4th of July that is happening tomorrow that you won't hear about for a week. So anyway, I guess that doesn't matter. But life is good. I wore
my outfit last time for that.
You did, didn't you?
I did.
Well, look at you, little buckaroo.
Learning stuff.
Yeah, you are. All right. Well, hey, listen, don't be a nerd. Spread the word. And as always, keep crushing it. 'Cause that shit is contagious.